Welcome to the Double Dribble podcast with Dubin and Dakil. That's Jared Dubin, author of Last Night in Basketball. Make sure you're checking out his newsletter. Make sure you're following him all the socials. You're going to get great insights with everything that you can possibly have from that. I'm Mo Dakil, former video coordinator with the Clippers, Spurs, Team Australia, write for Bleacher Report on occasion. I'm on other people's podcasts, and I'm on NBA TV every few weeks. So make sure you're just checking out all that stuff. Also, check out the videos on Offside. I almost forgot that, and that would suck. Make sure you're checking all the stuff I'm doing there on Offside. I'm going to drop the power rankings for this week here shortly. And with us early on, we got our dogs. I got my dog Luca. We got Bodie over there. We started. They both wanted to be on the podcast at the very beginning, and I know Luca looks miserable right now. I promise you, he wanted to be on the podcast. I just had to hold him up for a moment.
Bodie just wants attention.
Yeah, well, that's what my dog wants as well. But anyways, we got a lot to break down. We're just gonna say this stuff very quickly. Make sure you rate, review, subscribe to the podcast wherever you get podcasts. Again, we're building this from the ground up. We are two independent guys trying to make something happen with this podcast. So please support us as much as you can. We still have a call to action, looking for some music if anybody wants to help us out. 10 to 15 seconds, doesn't have to be anything absolutely astonishing or amazing, but just give us a little bit of something because Nintendo doesn't like me and doesn't want me to relive the 80s a little bit with the double dribble sounds and things like that. Jared, where can folks come watch our YouTube?
YouTube.com/@DoubleDribblePod and subscribe on all of your devices, your brother, sister, mother, father, boyfriend, girlfriend, Sneaky Links podcast. Get us on your Spotify Wraps and things like that. Our Spotify Wrapped for the creators showed us that we were a top 3% podcast debut this year. So that was very nice. Thank you all for listening.
Love that one. No idea what these numbers mean for the most part.
Neither do I, but it sounds good.
Sounds great. We're in the top 3. So, top 3%, folks. Keep listening. Keep sharing this with everybody. And let's just get straight to it because I didn't sleep well last night, and it kind of paid off in a weird way in the sense of, I got the news pretty quickly that the Los Angeles Clippers are parting ways with Clipper legend Chris Paul, and I use that term, specifically just in the sense of we'll get into his legacy here a little bit. Bit of a shock for me. It's been a year from hell from the Clippers. Jared, what was your initial reaction to all of this? And when we say in the middle of the night, this was like 3 a.m. LA time.
Yeah, I mean, my reaction was basically what the hell happened here? Because it clearly has to have been an incident or a series of incidents that led to this. Because, yeah, he was playing badly, but just because a guy is playing badly doesn't mean that you cut ties with him in the middle of the night like this. And we've gotten, obviously, some reporting about this. We've got some source wars, Mo, because it's very clear who is getting their information from whom here based on the reading of what happened. Just in the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so, we got the reporting from Shams and from Chris Haynes, which from Shams, it's Chris Paul and his leadership style clashed with the Clippers, sources tell ESPN. Paul has been vocal in holding management, coaches, and players accountable, which the team felt became disruptive. Specifically, Ty Lue was not on speaking terms with Paul for several weeks. And then minutes later, we get from Chris Haynes, sources weeks ago, Chris Paul requested to have a meeting with Tyronn Lue to discuss allegations of being a negative presence on the team. Lue refused to meet with him. Lawrence Frank traveled to Atlanta to deliver news of parting ways. Paul desired his final season to be with the Clippers. Again, very clear who's getting their information from whom here, and the different versions of what this story is. But it seems clear, at least, that CP3 was grating on the Clippers in some way, or specific people within the Clippers in some way, which honestly is not that surprising, given that he eventually grated on people over the course of his time there because of his leadership style. He is very exacting, very demanding. And when you are Chris Paul, superstar point guard, that goes over a lot differently than when you are Chris Paul, backup point guard who's shooting 30% from the field.
I mean, you hit it right on there, Jared, just off the bat. Chris has a tendency to just be annoying. Like I don't know a nicer way of putting it. And you'll put up with that when it's going to get you 50 wins, when it's all-time point guard Chris Paul, when it's the point god, as you know, he gets called and things like that. You won't put up with it in year 21. He's not shooting well. Obviously barely playing. The word that's going around now is just that he was just a pain in the ass. Him and Ty Lue weren't even on speaking terms for a few weeks, which is also a just massive problem. I think the way I look at it is nobody's going to come away from this looking good. Not Chris, not the Clippers, not Ty Lue, not Lawrence Frank. I thought the statement the Clippers put out was weird. And it's just like continuing what has become an absolutely horrendous, horrible season for the Clippers. That felt like it was over before it started with the whole aspiration. Kawhi Leonard, Pablo Torre, Steve Ballmer, whole thing. It's just gotten worse. You add in the alleged, and I think this part's unfair, but the fact that like the gambling stuff has kind of slightly touched Ty Lue in a way, and I think it's unfair in that respect because I don't think he was involved in the poker games. As far as I know, I should say. But like, it's just a season from hell, man. Like, I don't know, like, for them and to be playing absolutely terrible basketball in a year in which we didn't think they'd be this bad. Like, I don't think any of us had us as contenders, but we had them as like a playoff team. And now I don't even know if they're a playing-in team. Like, this is just another weird saga, another weird chapter in the season of hell for the Clippers.
Yeah, I would say they're certainly not a play-in team at this point. What are they, 5-16?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
something like that.
They are, I believe, 22nd in offense and 26th in defense. They were third on defense last year, and like Kawhi, when he's played, has been really good. James Harden has played well, and just the rest of the team is just an absolute disaster.
I mean, even when those guys are playing well, they're not even winning those games. Like, that's the thing that's alarming with that, with what you see, with how things are going. And, like, I'm just really glad Jeff Van Gundy made those T-shirts.
That was the high point of the season.
All right. And by the way, that was also a low point of the season at the same time. Yeah. Like, what a dumb shirt that was.
As someone who curses a lot, I appreciated it.
I curse a ton. I don't mind the curse, but you gotta have a better thing with the K. It can't be a super long run-on sentence. With what you have going. I just think one, I will also say this. They also knew what they were getting in Chris Paul. Like, this is who Chris has been his entire career in that sense. And, you know, it becomes frustrating. I totally understand it from their perspective. I know a lot of people, it's already coming around, like Clippers did him dirty, this isn't right, they should have, you can't deal, if it's a situation where it's affecting other guys, and clearly it seems to have been affecting everybody, you got to get rid of him at that point. And I just think it's a very tough way. I hope it's not the very end of his career. Like, I know they're either going to trade him or waive him. I just don't want to see it end this way.
Me neither. I think it's very interesting that we saw not this exact thing, but something like this happen with Carmelo Anthony with the Rockets at the end of his career, or what turned into not the end of his career because he was home for the rest of the year and then he went to the Blazers and the Lakers. Chris obviously has said this is going to be his last year, so I don't imagine he'll be making several more stops.
No.
But maybe he catches on somewhere else at some point this season. I don't see how there's going to be a trade. Like, who's making a trade for him? It just feels like he gets released sometime between now and maybe after the trade deadline, before the buyout deadline, and catches on somewhere for the stretch run of the season or the playoffs, and who knows what happens there.
Do you think, I'm going to ask you this question, do you think there's more coming for the Clippers? Like, do you think there's other things they're going to do within the next few days and weeks, kind of leading up to the trade deadline? Like, I know they don't have anything. I don't think there's a market for Kawhi Leonard. Nobody trusts his injury history, even though he's playing well. I don't know if people really want to trade for James Harden. Like, I mean, they're not going to trade Zubac. That's their probably most tradable asset. Is there something coming? Like, I agree with you. They don't waive Chris Paul until after the trade deadline because you might be able to use his contract in a trade.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know where, like, I just don't know what goes on with this team. Like, I think, and we know, and it's obviously been said a million times, they don't have their pick. It's going to Oklahoma City, so it's like, hooray, another lottery pick for OKC. I don't know where they go, like, what they do the rest of the season.
Neither do I. I do think that you have to just treat that draft pick going out as a sunk cost. Like, you can't worry about, if we trade whoever, it'll be a top 5 pick. Like, from their perspective, it doesn't matter where it lands. The pick is not coming to them anyway. It would be one thing if it was top 4 protected and like, we can't finish with one of the worst records in the league because, maybe we have a better chance of losing that pick. You're losing it no matter what. If it's 1, if it's 16, like, you can't worry about it. Just do whatever is going to make for the best foundation for the future. That said, I think you're right. Like, I don't think there's much of a market for Kawhi or James Harden. There probably would be a market for Zubac, but do you really want to trade Zubac? I don't know about that. Is there a market for John Collins or, Derek Jones or any of the other guys on the team? I don't know.
I also think the other thing, too, like, with which I don't think the Clippers are viewing it as they're not worried about that pick. I think they're viewing it like you. It's a sunk cost. It's over and done with. I just don't think there's anything they can do. Like, what is it? They're going to go trade for Ja, and that's going to make them better? Like, what? Who are they going to run and go get? Trae Young? Like, I don't know. Like, where?
No, I think the move for them, if they're going to make trades, is to be sellers. What are you buying that's going to make you good?
And I don't see a way in which the Bomber is going to be okay with that.
No.
He wants to win. Like, his focus is winning. Like, this is his, like, so I don't know, man. This is just a disaster. Do you have anything else on this one?
No, I mean, they have the 2027 cap space plan. So realistically, how bad is it to accelerate we're going to clear things by 1 year? You don't necessarily have to, like, go all out this summer at that point, but you knew you were going to be resetting the team in a year and a half anyway. Like, what's the big deal about doing it a year early?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, it just comes down to if they find anything that's worth it for them, But let's go to happier stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go to something happier. And the team we're going to go to, another Pacific Division team. The Phoenix Suns are just a happy team. They're coming off a really nice win against the Lakers where they fully kicked the Lakers' ass.
Mm-hmm.
And it was impressive because it was after Devin Booker hurts his groin and then has to leave the game. It happened so early in the game he had enough time to shower and change and then sit on the bench, which I was always like, interesting. Which, no shade at him. Brooks went completely nuts. I mean, Gillespie went out of his mind in the way he played this game. But look, man, like the Phoenix Suns right now are 13-9. They're in the 7th seed, a half game behind Minnesota at the 6th seed. I don't know if I'm not projecting them to be a top 6 team, but they've stacked some nice little wins there. The schedule begins to get tougher as they go forward, but man, I like what they're doing. They're playing hard. And I think a lot of credit needs to go to Jordan Ott in that he's kind of changing the culture. You got to give Dylan Brooks credit. He kind of comes, I don't like him, but like, I don't like his antics, but he plays his ass off. And I respect that in the way he does that. And I think that's kind of infected these other guys to a large degree in terms of shifting the culture. I like what they've done so far.
Yeah, they are 11th in offense and 12th in defense. Like, this is one of the things that I got most wrong this season. I thought they were going to be terrible. I think you were on the same wavelength
Yeah, yeah,
with me.
absolutely.
Yeah, and like you said, the big thing about them is they play super fucking hard. Super fucking hard. Like, they are balls to the wall every single night, which is a lot different than what we saw from this team over the last couple of years. And I think you're right that Dylan Brooks has a pretty significant effect on that. Like, Devin Booker looks, before he got injured, looks like he's playing like a lot freer than he did the last couple of years. He looks much more comfortable than he did trying to fit in with Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. Gillespie, like you mentioned, he's like Western Conference Ryan Rollins. The dude is just
Yeah.
good, man.
Right.
Like, he's just a good player. He's been starting the last few games, and that's been a success for them. Like you said, you got to give credit to Jordan Ott. You got to give credit to the whole team, except for, I guess, Jalen Green, who's only played 2 games.
Yeah, that's the other side of it, right? Like the Jalen Green aspect, we still have to see how that kind of pans out. I am concerned about their front court rotation. I don't think it's that great. I mean, I know it's Mark Williams. Malowach hasn't played much. It's
Iguodaro.
Iguodaro and those guys. Like but like again, and I'm just gonna keep hammering it. Good things happen when you play hard. Like this isn't like
In the regular season,
amazing
like,
analysis,
you
but
can
like
establish such a high baseline in the regular season when you're just playing harder than everybody every night.
yeah, and that's kind of what they do. And you know what? This is how you start to become a good team again.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, cool, we're gonna play our asses off. Look at Houston, man. That's what they were before they went and got even Dylan Brooks and Fred Van Vliet, right? Like they just played hard. They weren't playing smart. They weren't playing really good basketball, but they're playing hard. And then you started to see the foundation of things start to kind of build. Like that's the starting block right there, right? And I think, it's effort is the thing you can always give. God, that was so cliche and sound like lame of me to have said that out loud.
Yeah.
But that's genuinely like a thing where it's like you go look at that Laker game. Lakers wanted no part of that in the second half.
Not at all. I think it was Dan Devine at Yahoo that wrote about how it sort of feels like the year before they traded for Chris Paul, vibes-wise, where it's like it feels like this is a young team that just works hard and is, maybe a player or two away from being a real competitor, but the vibes are good,
Yeah,
because everybody's working toward the same thing.
Yeah, you got. I just really enjoy that. Kudos to Jordan Ott and his staff for kind of establishing that. I know Matt Ishbia wrote the whole letter of like the culture changing and this and that. Like we make fun of him a lot, and we should because I think he's kind of a one of those crazy owners, and we'll see how they build going forward. But they're doing well so far. I know the schedule gets tougher. I want to pull it up here. I had it a second ago. I think the challenge for them will be once this gets tougher because they're 9-3 against teams below 500, right, and 4-6 against teams that are 500 or better, and I think that's the thing you got to watch, right? That's where I kind of get concerned, and it's tough, right? They had a nice little break. They played the Lakers on Monday, 3 days off. Play at Houston Friday, at Minnesota Monday, at OKC Wednesday.
Oof.
Like that could be 3 losses right then and there.
Yeah,
right?
and
Like
then they get the Warriors back-to-back, or back-to-back games, not an actual back-to-back. And Steph could be back for those games, I believe.
Right. Those are a home and home with the Warriors. One at home, one on the road. And then they get the Lakers at home again, who I promise you will put a better effort in that game. And I think that's going to be the stuff. Like that's leading up to that's right before Christmas. So that's going to be the stuff that you got to pay attention to. How they do in that stretch will really define to me their season. Right? They don't have to finish they don't have to finish like gangbusters and
go 500 in that stretch and
I'm happy. Yeah, and you're going to look at it and say like, "All right," cuz if you go 500 in that stretch, there are some good wins in there.
Mm-hmm.
They're just in that stretch, just by the nature of who you're playing, there are a couple of good wins in there. They go 500 there. I think I feel like you're really kind of showing that it's real what we've done so far.
And the schedule gets a little bit easier after that. Like they do go
Yeah.
on the road, but it's the Pelicans twice, the Wizards, and the Kings within a span of 5 games after that stretch. And they have
Yes.
had the eighth easiest schedule in the league so far, which is not it's not overwhelmingly easy, but obviously it's a little bit easier than you would expect.
Yes. So I think that's kind of the interesting point of it. Again, I just like the way they're playing. I will enjoy watching any team that I can look and say like, damn, they play hard.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's with guys also like some of these dudes I don't even know who they are. And I'm just like, damn, that dude's busting his ass and going to work. And I'm like, I got to give them a lot of respect for how they've approached the game with everything that they've had.
Yeah, I think Gillespie's got to be like as big a story as Ryan Rollins in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Like those two guys are the biggest breakout players from their respective conferences in terms of coming out of nowhere to just be like legitimately good starters.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the thing. It's going to be fun. Let's go to a few of the other teams, because here's the other thing we talk about. Like, every start of the season always has surprises, and we talk about how a team surprised and that. We never do the reality show 6 weeks later. My favorite is Bar Rescue, right? And I let me put in quotes reality show, but 6 weeks later they give you the update. So I kind of said let's do a little bit of an update on some of these teams that started out really well. Some of them are continuing to play well. Some not so much. What do you do you want to start on a positive note or a negative note?
Let's start on a positive note.
Okay. If we're going to go positive, we got to talk to Miami Heat. Cuz 14-7 now, their offense is rolling. They got Tyro. Sheesh. And I'm not editing that out. Tyler Hero back, right? They're impressive with the way they've played. 6-4 against teams 500 or better. 9-3 against the bad teams. I like they've almost pulled off a great comeback against the Pistons towards the end of the last game they played the Pistons. I like the way they've kind of set themselves up. What are you seeing so far in them? I don't want to ask, is it sustainable? Because it's been sustainable at this point.
It's been sustainable, at least, obviously, for the first 20 or so games of the year. I really liked what I saw from Hero in the first game back. He looked very comfortable within the offense. I think he missed his first 4 shots, but then through the rest of the game, just everything he was doing off the drive, very easily getting into the mid-range for floaters and stuff like that. I like what we're seeing from Khalil Ware. I wrote about it a couple weeks ago in the mailbag at Last Night in Basketball, where after he got challenged by Giannis Haslam about his rebounding, he just started grabbing every rebound available. Obviously, Norm Powell has been really good throughout the year. Jaime Jaquez has been really good throughout the year. Right. It seems like everything fits the personnel that they have, which makes sense because Spo is one of the coaches that is most able to adjust his system to his personnel. And we've seen that throughout his career. And the last couple of years, it did kind of seem like everyone was trying to fit into this system that they had been running for a couple of years, and they just weren't getting the best out of everybody. And this year, they're getting the best out of everybody.
So my big thing with them is that their defense is just rock solid. 4th in defensive rating at 111.2. And I think the way you kind of, and that's just behind, Houston, Detroit, and OKC. They're right in the mix. Offensively, they're just out of the top 10, which for them is great. The way they're going. I want to ask you this question. I'm going to pose this. This is a bit of a random question because you brought up the years past. Could this have been a system that Jimmy Butler would have played well in? Or are they able to run this system because Jimmy Butler is no longer there?
It's an interesting question. I think he specifically could have succeeded within it just because of all the space to drive and how that would work for him. But I do think not having him there sort of frees them up to do it in a certain way, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And I'm going to actually disagree with you. I don't think it would have worked because Jimmy's not a fast player. They're first in pace. in the way they play. They want to play fast. They want to push. They want to get more opportunities. They want more possessions in the game. The way I understand them. And I think Jimmy's not that way. Jimmy likes having the post up, back you down. This is how he draws fouls. This is how he gets. It's different styles. I'm not saying which style is better, but I just don't think Jimmy would actually really embrace this as much as like they have now. And I think you're right. Like without Jimmy, it makes it so much easier to run this.
Yeah, I think that what I was thinking was if he committed to it, it could have been good for him and it would have put him in position to succeed. But the reason that they're able to do it, or not the reason that they're able to do it, but one of the reasons that they're able to do it is that they're not trying to play Jimmy Butler ball anymore. They're trying to play, with the system that fits for the personnel that they do have.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to, we're going to go back and forth. So we're going to go until we run out of whether it's positive or negative. I don't know what note we're going to end on. But let's go with the negative team. And I'm just going to go Chicago Bulls. Started out the season, it was fun, it was frisky, we were enjoying the way they were playing, everything was looking good, shots were falling, they were winning at crunch time. I'm just going to tell you right now, that's gone.
Yeah, they are on pace for 39 wins, just like everybody and their mother expected coming into the season. Started 5-0, they're 4-11 since. They are 20th in offense, 22nd in defense. They're getting absolutely killed in the possession game. When you look at the stats that I have on Last Night Basketball, they're minus 5.6 per game. That is second to last in the NBA behind only the Wizards, who are like not an actual real basketball team. So it's getting ugly there.
Yeah, no, it's getting quite hideous, actually, to be honest.
And despite Kobe White coming back and scoring like 25 points a game.
Didn't matter. They had a tough loss against Indiana. With Siakam hitting a game winner. Just like, it was fun while it lasted, guys. Like, this is one of those things, I think, when we did do the surprise team stuff was like, was this sustainable? Was this something that could last? I don't think anybody felt that confident with them. I think it's brutal. They're back to just being the mediocre Bulls. I want to pull up, actually, I meant to do this before the show. Let me just see what their clutch rating is, because they started out really well in the clutch, right? Vooch hit a couple game winners and things. Like they had a nice little run. By the
way, I can't remember which team it was against, but he hits a game winner against somebody. And after the game, Portland, yeah. After the game, he's giving this interview. He is so pissed about the way they played throughout the entire game. And there are a bunch of teammates behind him being like, you should be happy, we just won. And he's like not having it at all. That was one of the funnier moments of the season.
I respect that, because that's actually a way I felt when I used to work for the Clippers in the video room. Like, when we all of a sudden had championship standards, it was
the Bulls don't have championship standards. They have 39.
No. But the idea of like, you can win the game and still be pissed off was something that was foreign to my friends who would see me after the game, because I would give tickets to my friends. I'd meet them in the family room afterwards. Sometimes go grab a late night bite with them. And it was like, and they would just be like, man, you guys won, but you look angry. I'm like, yeah, because we shouldn't have won that game. We should have won that game by 10, 20, whatever. And like, that was dog shit. Like, we didn't deserve that one. And it's like, so I appreciate Vooch echoing Mo's sentiments where like, not all wins are good wins. And, it's nice. You'd rather do that in a win than a loss, but sometimes it hurts. Their clutch rating. Okay, so they've had 14 games in clutch, which is absurd. They're to their credit, they're 500. They're 7-7. I think they will finish below 500 because they started out well. Because it was that one. I remember the game against Philly where Vooch also hit the go-ahead three that led to them winning. And stuff. Do you want to guess their offensive rating in the clutch?
101.9.
No, 99.3.
I was close.
You were close, but not even triple digits. Defense actually isn't bad. The defense is 114.7. So it's a minus 15.7 net rating.
And they're still 7-7.
Then it's 7-7 in clutch. So, like, give them credit there. I don't think that's something that will last. But again, like this is the expectations. This is what we expected from them, right? This is one of those surprise teams that, oh wow, like are the Bulls really something? And then you get a look at it, or that you go a few weeks later, and it's like, oh no, not so much.
No, they're exactly what we thought they were going to be.
All right, I will let you pick the next positive story. What's your positive surprise team?
Let's go to the Magic, right? Playing well without Paolo Banchero. Jalen Suggs looks great. I really like Tristan da Silva. Anthony Black in permanent attack mode is really fun to watch. The offense is like borderline top 10 if I'm remembering correctly. The defense has bounced back from where it was early in the season. We don't have to call for Jamal Mosley's job. They just look like a good team, like the team we expected them to be coming into the year. It's sort of like the inverse of the Bulls, where the Magic are looking like we expected them to in a good way, and the Bulls are looking like we expected them to in a sort of meh way.
Yeah. So the Magic are 9th in offensive rating. Their defense is up to 9th as well in defensive rating. So like it's kind of coming together with that. I do not like the noise of we're doing this without Paolo. Did you say about something else or what I was
about something else?
Wait 1 second then, because we'll do this live on air.
We got a Shams tweet
live on podcast. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Forget it. Magic, you're off the hook. You look better offensively. I think you'll be fine once Paolo comes back. I think you'll be able to figure this out. Is this going to derail the show completely?
It's going to derail the show completely.
Oh,
Just
boy,
in, Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent Alex Saratsas have started conversations with the Milwaukee Bucks about the two-time NBA MVP's future and discussing whether his best fit is staying or elsewhere, sources tell ESPN. A resolution is expected in the coming weeks.
Oh my, you're right. First off, is an understatement. Response to that. When you see that, and your response should be wave me off.
Well, I did tell you it was going to derail the show.
It was. Everything else is out the window. We're done. Surprise teams.
Apologies to the Magic, the Jazz, the Sixers, and the Raptors in good and bad ways, but this has become the show now.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, folks. And this is sometimes a blessing in disguise, because normally this happens literally after I post.
Yeah, that's
true. Or like 2 hours after the post is up, right? After one of us posts the podcast, and then it's just like, hell. And this one would have been a big one where I would have been like, yo, we have to get on the mic and talk about this. First reaction, what's
cards on the table? That would have happened if we didn't have some issues with the recording earlier.
Actually, no, we'll tell everybody what happened so that they can understand the plight of podcasters. We started this show, if you guys watch this on YouTube, with our dogs in our laps. In the middle of it, I felt my dog shaking, which is usually a sign of like, oh, he needs to go outside like right now. So thank you, Luca, because we would have recorded the podcast and exactly what always happens would have happened again. It's noon West Coast time. This podcast would have been up probably by about 11 a.m. West Coast time. And I'd have been like, damn it, we got to do this all over again. So yeah, let's, so thank you, Luca. He's fine, everybody, everything's good. What's your initial reaction to this?
It probably should have just happened this summer, right? Like,
yeah,
it was somewhat easy to see this coming from the Bucks. It's very difficult, I think, to trade him in season, given his salary. Next reaction is like, who's going to be involved? Obviously, you would think Atlanta, which has some Milwaukee draft picks. I think Portland has some Milwaukee draft picks, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
So those are a couple interesting teams. The one over the summer was he wanted to go to the Knicks, so maybe there's a Karl Anthony Towns thing, but maybe it's a 3-team deal. or something along those lines. But Houston obviously has significant assets. San Antonio has significant assets. Like, you got to start batting around teams once this comes out. Like, once this is out, that means like stuff is already in the works and happening.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the teams that have Milwaukee's picks, I think, are the ones that, like, if you're Milwaukee and you're trading Giannis and you're not going to get a piece that's, first off, you're not getting a piece that's equal value for starters, right? Like, I think, you want to get draft compensation because you're going to be bad now, right? And by the way, you're bad already. You're 11th in the Eastern Conference right now. You're on a tough losing streak. Like, you're not looking good. As much as I like Ryan Rollins, there's not much there beyond that with what they have talent-wise. It also makes stretching Dame's contract look kind of iffy. To try to appease Giannis. Well, I was trying to be nice. Like, I'm trying to be positive, Jared. Like, I'm trying to be, like, at least not so like, I'm negative, but not so negative.
Saying it that way, it's not a good comparison at all. But you saying I'm trying to be positive that way reminded me of the scene in The Sopranos where Christopher is trying to, like, finagle a threesome with Adriana and the FBI agent, and she catches him doing it and is, like, mad at him and is talking about, she's like, you were saying she had a nice ass. And he's like, I was trying to say something positive because she's your friend. So you saying that way just reminded me of that for some reason.
That's a weird one. I'm not going to lie to you, but yeah, wherever your mind goes. I think though the viewpoint of it though is like, I'm with you. If you were Milwaukee, you should have done this in the offseason. You shouldn't have waited for Giannis to tell you. And I get why. I understand it, right? Like, we're not going to be the ones to break up in this relationship. We know we're the ones that are out of our league in this, right? And that we're not going to be the ones. We're going to, as long as he wants to be here, we're never going to trade him. I understand that. But we've seen this coming for 2 years. The fact that, like, there was, say whatever you want, it felt like there was hesitation from Giannis this offseason. It felt like it was real this offseason.
And I think reports throughout the offseason, like Shams was on the drumbeat throughout the entire offseason, making sure people knew that this was a story. Windhorse was out there with some stuff, making sure people knew this was a story. There were obviously the reports. I can't remember if it was right before the season or early in the season that there were actual discussions with the Knicks, and they didn't really go anywhere because neither side thought the other side was serious. And it did seem like the Knicks delaying the Mikal Bridges extension for as long as they did was at least in part in connection to this. Now Bridges is only eligible to be traded like a few days before the trade deadline, so that probably would not fall into there's a resolution expected in the coming weeks. So it seems like if the Knicks were to get involved, it'd probably have to be Towns, but also why would the Bucks want Towns?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, unless their idea is let's level off. Let's not be so bad because we don't have any of our picks and don't have a chance to get our picks back. The way I look at this is this was the conclusion. This was coming for years. I'm sorry, Milwaukee fans. Like, this was coming for years. Like, we all have known it in the way this was. I think if they were a little bit proactive, they could have, in the offseason, actually gotten like an unbelievable deal. It's so much harder in the offseason. I mean, during the season, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's so much harder in the season to pull off a trade this big. It's going to probably happen, and it's probably going to be still a pretty good haul, but I think it gets very complicated. If you're Brooklyn, you have to kind of look around and be like, hey, we want to be involved and help you out here a little bit. Like, can we siphon off a draft pick?
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting Giannis, but you can get a bunch of stuff in the deal.
Yeah, no, this is prime opportunity for teams that know they're not getting Giannis to just be like, hey, we'll take a bad contract in this deal if we can get a draft pick out of this, right? Like
the Wizards, the Hornets can get in on all of this stuff.
They should all be in on this.
Yeah.
Like this is Oh, also, quietly, just because you mentioned the Hornets, it reminded me. Secret, quiet winner in this, Atlanta.
Because
Because the draft pick is either New Orleans or Milwaukee's.
Oh, right.
So,
Oh, my God. Yeah.
so now, so one, it actually makes Atlanta a very interesting team because now we can trade you that pick. We can give you your pick back, or if your pick is better or is worse than New Orleans, you'll get New Orleans. Right? I don't know how the swap the language in the swaps. I don't know what the
You can say like you get the best of these two picks and we get the worst of these two picks. Or
so
actually,
I mean
it would be the best because the Hawks only get one of them. They don't get both. So they would
You're
have
right.
to get whichever pick we're supposed to get.
Yeah. So I think, but that's like a nice juicy piece for the Bucks to want to get back.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, and especially
in this draft.
Yeah. Right there. You and I, same place. I think, like, honestly, this is totally derailed the show because this is all I'm gonna think. This has derailed my day. This is all I'm gonna be thinking about now.
Yeah, Shams is like story file to ESPN and joining NBA Today on ESPN in minutes. So I'm like waiting for more tweets to come out.
A buddy of mine texted me, said, "Did Windhorse had this at 6 a.m. this morning? My time?"
Yeah, Windhorse said that he had. My friend texted me earlier. Windhorse said he asked to be traded already this morning.
Jeez. So okay, well that's pretty massive. All right, let's do this. Favorite landing spot for him. Where would you want to see him? Like, we're gonna just do the whole. This is the Giannis show.
Yeah, I mean, look. Selfishly, I would like to see him land with the New York Knicks.
Oh wait, hold on. Do you think somewhere right now Rob Pelinka's a little pissed off, going like, "Damn, why didn't they call me first? We could have kept this quiet. I could have given you Rui Hachimura a bunch of second round picks. Would have been great if we're gonna trade you LeBron. I mean, he has a no trade clause. Wouldn't have worked, but like, it would have been like somewhere Pelinka's pissed off.
Probably. Leon Rose also probably pissed off.
Yeah. So yeah, selfishly New York, but like, okay, but beyond the selfish, because yeah, for me selfishly, in LA, right, would be where I'd want to see him. But
Giannis and Wemby, yes, please.
I'm not sure I like that.
It would be fun. It would be a lot of fun to watch.
First off, anybody playing them is not scoring.
No.
On those two guys defensively, no, you're not. Like I defensively, like, good freaking luck. I think offensively, I think you run into a little trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I think, although the 4-5 and 5-4 pick and rolls between the two of them. Okay, I might be talking. You know what? Forget it. I was wrong. Yeah, no, I'm in. Let's go. Let's just see what it looks like. Worst case, you just trade Giannis again.
Show me all of those pick and rolls, and like,
yeah,
you could sell the Spurs on, hey, let's build around De'Aaron Fox. Although you can't trade De'Aaron Fox until
you just gave him the extension. This is also really part of the reason why this coming out now I don't think this. They say coming weeks. I bet you this is going to bleed into 2026.
Yeah, well, most of the league or a lot of the league isn't eligible to be traded until December 15th. Then a lot of the rest of the league isn't able to be traded until January 15th. And then some of the key partners might not have players eligible to be traded until early February.
Like, I don't think one thing that's always true about everything is time kills all deals, right? But like, I don't think they can kind of put together. I don't know how long Milwaukee can wait with this news out there, because this is going to be the conversation. Every post-game interview, every conversation, every player has on that. This is a cloud now hanging over that organization and team. Right? Like, that's just the way it's going to be. And we've seen it kind of like crushed souls and teams. Remember the whole Dwight Howard in Orlando thing? Like, that was the whole thing. That was a disaster, right? Like, you know, still one of the funniest things is Dwight Howard hugging Stan Van Gundy after he just destroyed Dwight in the media scrum. Walks away,
forget that as long as
Dwight Dwight gets hit with $1 million. It's like, I just got run over by a train. I think that's gonna be that makes this really complicated in that sense. I don't think this happens before 2026 would be my bet, but I don't know if you could wait till the deadline. I don't know. It's going to be pretty difficult. Okay, so San Antonio won. What would be your second choice? Personal preferences out of it. Is Houston?
Houston's interesting, but it would probably have to be Şengün because they're not going to give up on Amen Thompson. So it probably has to be Şengün, and I think that changes your team a lot, but it's probably worth it also.
I mean, every organization has had this meeting since the offseason, by the way. Every organization's been waiting for this.
Oh, yeah, been waiting for this for years. And like Bucks fans used to complain all the time. Why are we still talking about this with Giannis? He said he always wants to be here. Because everybody knew that this day was one day going to be here. And also because teams were planning for it for years, several different times, only for the Bucks to swoop in and be like, oh, we're trading for Drew Holiday. Oh, we're trading for Damian Lillard. And that sort of delayed things for a couple of years. And this time they did it again with, we're signing Miles Turner. And it only lasted a couple months this time around.
Is it going to be a situation where no matter what deal gets put out there, Oklahoma City's just going to put the Godfather package out there?
What's the Godfather package? Are they really trading J-Dub or Chet? I don't think so. Especially those guys have base year compensation issues.
No, that's right. That makes things complicated. Again, should have done this in the offseason. Would have made things easier.
But they would have had to add so much salary with those guys. I don't even know how they would have cobbled together that much salary.
Gets interesting. But I mean, if you're Milwaukee, that's who you want to be enticed by this and to jump in with this.
We want all 15 of their draft picks.
Yeah. I hope the Spurs don't do it and trade Dylan Harper. I love him. Just by the way, folks, we're just spitballing at this point. Or at least let me just say,
happened in the middle of a recording about something totally unrelated and totally derailed the podcast.
Was not prepared for this. Thinking of Giannis, I'm going to give credit to somebody I had pretty impressed. This is exactly what Bill Simmons was saying was going to happen.
So now the Knicks emerged as the only team Giannis expressed interest in over the summer. But that was over the summer. It's a lot different.
I don't think he's going to be that hard pressed on. It has to be New York. I know over the summer that was the story, but I think his deal is going to be I want to just play for championships, which fair enough, Yeah,
I mean, he goes to the Knicks. They're probably playing for championships.
Yeah, no, for sure. They're right in the. I mean, let's just be honest. He goes to the Knicks. He goes to San Antonio. He goes to Houston. Just off the bat, those three teams are competing for championships.
Oh, yeah. It's obviously significantly more different in the Western Conference than it is in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. But also, if you're Milwaukee, you're kind of I don't really want him to be in the East, but I
mean, if you're Milwaukee, you just got to get the best deal. It doesn't really matter if you're in the East or the West.
So let me ask you this question. Any way Golden State can get involved in this? I mean, it's got to be centered around Kuminga, but I don't know, again, with him.
It would be Kuminga, Draymond's contract.
Oof. Yeah, that's not happening. They're not.
That opens up a whole can of worms. There are just teams that could offer better deals, I think.
Yeah. So there's no way for them.
Now there's a tweet, Windhorst, saying it's going to be Giannis instructing them where he wants to go. So that could obviously make things interesting.
This
it's
is
not from
crazy.
Windhorst, the tweet. Someone summarizing what he said. I don't know where, on the radio or on. Okay, now here's the story from Shams. Over the offseason, Giannis explored external options and was open to playing for one team outside of Milwaukee. Sources described it as an exclusive negotiating window for the Knicks over a multi-week period in August, but that will not be the case moving forward. Multiple other teams would be expected to emerge as suitors for the 9-time All-Star if trades are explored. So it doesn't sound like only one team here.
I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be just one team. I don't think he's going
It
to just
can't
put
be
it down.
just because, like, why would the Bucks be interested in what the Knicks can offer?
Right. I just don't think it's going to be one team. I just don't see how it kind of turns out that way. Like, it's going to be. This is going to be such a freaking shit show, Jared. Jared, we got to be ready for an emergency podcast now, somewhere in the next,
Yeah.
6 weeks or so. I would guess.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we have to be ready in the next 2 weeks, just because December 15th opens up
Yeah,
a lot more players to be traded.
it's not happening before the 15th. It's not. It just can't.
Yeah, certainly in the 6 weeks after that, we gotta make sure we're texting at all times.
Ready to go at all times. Microphone on you at all times. It's going to be those weird moments where you just got to make sure the notifications are on. This is also when people are going to get fooled by parody accounts.
Yep,
and
that's
things
why
like
you have
that.
to have like lists on TweetDeck, so you know that it's definitely like.
Well, mine is notifications. If I have just Shams on notifications. If I get a Shams notification, then I know it's real. The only time I don't really kind of pay attention to the notifications when I'm podcasting. So, crap, this is just going to be insane.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I love this league.
What name becomes attached to this? Like, there's always like a nickname for one of these sagas, you know, and
I have a bad one. I don't know if this will get me in trouble, but is this going to be the freak off?
oh gosh, yep, I think that's it. That's gotta be it.
You heard it here first, folks. I'm actually not proud that I'm the one.
I'm proud for whatever.
Okay,
I'm proud of that.
I think one other thing though is like, what's a dark horse team that can kind of come into this? Because it's always the way this stuff sort of works out, right? Is like, okay, this is the list of the teams, and then all of a sudden somebody comes flying in with an offer.
It usually work that way with guys of his stature. You know, like it happened with Dame the one time, and I guess it also happened with Donovan Mitchell. But he's of a significantly different stature, I think, than either Dame or Mitchell. You know, like usually it's like, I want to go here, and then you go there.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be interesting though. This is gonna be a sweepstakes though. This is, by the way, Nico Harrison. This is what you were supposed to do if you were gonna trade Luka. This is what you were supposed to do. Open for business. I'm accepting all bids. Let's talk.
Well, we don't.
Let me
know
see what you're.
You know, the Bucks putting it, like, it seems like it's the Giannis side putting it out there, not necessarily the Bucks.
They're putting it out
for business.
Well, but they are though, right? Because like they're putting this out there. I mean, the agents are putting it out there. They're the ones telling them where they want to go. But if it's more than one team, then it's, hey, this is what's your best offer? What's your best offer? What's your best offer? Go create this is what we want. Tell them this is our demands. What can you do? And then it's like, then these teams got to go find and make if I'm Horst, I'm just like, you guys got to come to me with deals that look enticing, that make me want to do this. And these are the guys, and you got to tell them, like, we're obviously Giannis, but like, we're willing to part with this guy, and this guy as part of the deal.
Or we want you to take this contract and this contract and this contract.
Yeah, or this contract's got to go, or that, like, there's gonna be part of that.
We want you to take Kyle Kuzma. You know, we want you to take whoever.
So it's gonna be it's gonna be so interesting, man. I've come up with a random dark horse, and this team has been mentioned in years for the Giannis sweepstakes, but like for a different reason than why now. But like, Toronto got a lot of young guys, a lot of interesting pieces. Like, I don't know if you can get Scotty Barnes.
I don't think.
So I mean, like it's get a bunch of their draft picks. For years, it was always, well, Masai's there, so he's going to want to be with Masai. Obviously, Masai's not there anymore. So it would be funny if it kind of turned out that way. But, like, I don't know. I'm spitballing. Some of this is crazy. Does Detroit make a crazy-ass offer?
Maybe.
Jaden Ivey, we've been talking about them as a marketing team. Why not be a Giannis team? Jaden Ivey, Tobias Harris to make the money work. Probably need more.
Come close to making the money work though. Like you need a lot more money than that.
You're gonna have to. No, I mean this is just the starting point. And then just our draft picks or whatnot.
So many of these deals are going to have to be 3-4 team deals just because of all the different ways that you have to make the money work.
This is going to be crowded.
You can't take on like 4 players in the middle of the season because of the way roster limits work.
I will venture to guess this will be a 3 to 4 team trade, and this will also lead to either LaMelo, Trey, or Ja somehow being in the trade. Not necessarily to Milwaukee, but in a way in which let's make this work. I feel like there's going to be some of that stuff. Wouldn't be shocked also if Michael Porter Jr. ends up in this if Brooklyn gets involved.
You heard it here first. Giannis to Brooklyn, Charlotte, Memphis, or Atlanta.
Jared said it. I said they'd be in the trade. I didn't say for Giannis, but you said it, so there you go. You can own that one. I'm going to own Freakoff. I don't. Oh man, Jared, this is going to break my brain. I still have so much other stuff I have to do.
Exciting. It's going to be annoying. More than anything else, probably annoying. And there are going to be so many fake tweets and so many fake reports. It's going to be incredible, honestly.
I'm going to be pissed off, and I'm warning y'all now, if Giannis doesn't get traded now. Because we've had false starts from him before where it's like, maybe, this whole thing. And if he doesn't get traded now, I don't ever want to hear Shams with a tweet, Windhorse on a podcast talking about there's rumors. I don't ever want to hear it ever until it's done with him. So this has to happen now. Because, like, it's true. They said they're discussing options was the original wording of that. Discussing his future.
Yeah.
Better be I'm demanding to be traded and I want to go here. And, this is crazy, dude. Like, this is going to be nuts.
Yeah, there's not much else to say about it than that.
In two seasons, Luka Doncic has been traded, and now most likely Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be traded.
2 of the 4 best players in the league, 5 best players in the league, whatever.
I mean, it's just like this. I love this league. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Do you want to do college football talk?
Yeah, let's do it briefly.
I won't be brief, but you go first, then I'll go.
Miami demolished Pitt 38-7. Somehow did not move up in the college football playoff rankings. Everybody knows it's a bunch of nonsense that we're not ahead of Notre Dame. It's total bullshit. Everybody knows it's total bullshit. There are so many Miami people and podcasts and sites that I read and listen to that are talking about, it's still possible if BYU loses the Big 12 championship game, then we're right next to Notre Dame, and they have to put us ahead of Notre Dame at that point. If they were going to put us ahead of Notre Dame, they would have put us ahead of Notre Dame already. Like, you got to give up the ghost. It's over. They are not doing the logical thing. It makes no sense on any level, but they choose the field they want, and they make up the rules for why after that. At first it was, Miami has to show more consistency. Miami shows more consistency. We need Miami to show that its offense is good again. Miami scores 38-plus points like 4 weeks in a row to end the season. Then it's, Miami has to be in the same pod with Notre Dame. Miami's in the same pod as Notre Dame. Now it's Miami has to be back-to-back with Notre Dame. It's just, they're going to keep coming up with reasons to keep Notre Dame in the field. They already came up with a nonsense reason to move Alabama ahead of Notre Dame because they beat 5-7 Auburn in the Iron Bowl, where they had to complete a 4th down conversion late in the game to come away with that, and then get a fumble late in the game to steal the victory. And they move Alabama ahead because they don't want Alabama to miss if they lose the SEC championship game. They pick the field they want, and they come up with the reasons after that. Unfortunately, we're not going to make it. everybody knows it's nonsense, and they're just going to come up with a reason that they want to do.
Okay. I'm going to just say this. I think you're going to make it.
I think it's over.
That's fine.
I think it ended on Tuesday.
I think you're going to make it. I don't know under how machinations and things like that, but I think you'll be there. I think you'll be playing in the college football playoffs, unless BYU wins. If BYU wins, then I think you guys are fucked. But if they don't,
if BYU wins, they're in, and Notre Dame and Miami are both out.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I wouldn't mind, only because, one, you rooted against my team against Oregon, and two, I hate Notre Dame. Just saying, you root against my team. It's just saying, vengeful Mo in all of this. Gonna be real quick. USC beat UCLA. We did not look good in the first half. We kicked their ass in the second half, pitched a shutout in the second half. Very happy with that. Going to be sad to see Mekhi Lemon go. He's going to get drafted. He's a first round. He should be the first receiver taken in the draft.
He'll be one of the first receivers taken. He'll be one of the top 2 or 3 for sure.
Yeah, but I've gotten to watch him up close all for really the past 3 years. Like, the dude's a dog. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens for SC. Listen, we're out. We're going to have a bowl game. Hopefully we'll win. We'll have 10 wins on the season. We'll be great. This was, I think, the launching pad season. I think this is the one that kind of kicks us into finally being, and we'll talk about it, long ways away from now. But, like, obviously next season, our schedule's freaking ridiculously tough. But I think this is going to be the start of, like, this was the set the standard year, and I think that was really important. Today is National Signing Day. We are finishing with the number 1 class in the country. I didn't know this, Jared. I think it's been 18 years since a team outside the SEC had finished with the number 1 class in the country.
That's crazy.
That's absurd. So take with that however you want, but I'm happy to see that we've loaded up a lot of size, a lot of linemen, a lot of defensive linemen. It's going to be interesting to see how, obviously they're young, they have to develop, and they're not all these guys are going to hit. It's just the way evaluations grow and things like that. But going to be insane. If Jaden Mayava comes back, we're going to be in good shape next year. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, we signed the number 1 player in the recruiting class, Jackson Cantwell, offensive lineman, who is going to have to take over for Francis Mauigoa, who's going to be one of the top offensive linemen drafted this year. And then we're going to lose Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor too. But, hopefully before then we get to see those guys play a few more games. But like I said, I don't think it's going to happen. Like, I think it's over.
Yeah. I think you will. I'm going to be positive for you. I got you. Fingers crossed.
Go Canes.
Go Canes. Yeah. Anything else? Any closing thoughts?
Notre Dame sucks.
Yeah, no, we'll end on that. Notre Dame sucks. Also UCLA. UCLA sucks too. But that's all we got. Thank you for listening to the Double Dribble podcast.
See y'all.